Po, sir.
Ayan. Okay. Communication. So, before kasi 'di ba pinag-uusapan natin information literacy, the sources of information, lahat ng pinapakalat natin through the mass media. But of course, ano ba yung pinaka-essence nun? Front and back line, which is communication. Kasi the purpose of spreading information, spreading media, the use of media is to communicate for the people. Okay? Let's define communication. Communication is a simple act of transferring information from one place, person, or group to another based on skills you need. Okay? Kumbaga, dissemination or distribution of information or a piece or ano yung pinag-uusapan natin, whether a particular place, particular person, or group of other people. Okay? Kung saan man tayo nag-uusap, pero pertaining doon is a person. Okay? It's a process of sending and receiving messages whether verbal or non-verbal, which is 'di ba verbal, ito yung ginagawa natin, yung nakikipag-usap tayo, nag-ano tayo by our voices, 'di ba? Non-verbal, ba yung mga non-verbal, syempre yung mga gestures, body languages, yan, or yung mga expressions natin, that's the non-verbal communication. It includes speech, or oral communication. Yun yung mga verbal. That's the example. Pagka non-verbal, syempre, bukod dun sa sinasabi ko nga science behavior, writing, graphical representation, like a text, usually mga text yan, graphics, etc. And another definition is the use of message to generate both within and across the myriad of culture, context, channels, and media. Kasi di ba, sending of information, ano ba yung information? Ano bang particular topic, di ba? Ano ba yung mga pinag-uusapan? So, kasama yon sa communication. Okay? And we know that this is the process of communication. Paano ba nagsisimula yung communication natin, 'di ba? As we all know, telephone, 'di ba? Nung una panahon na ginawa ni Alexander Graham Bell ang telephone, 'di ba? The concept was, 'di ba, kung nung mga bata kayo, 'di ba, ginagamit natin yung dalawang lata ng condensed milk. Tapos meron tali, 'di ba? Ganon yung parang walkie-talkie natin ng bata tayo, right? But of course, as we illustrate, 'di ba? As we define those, 'di ba? 'Di ba tayo, the sender, for example, si number one, yung mag-send ng message, 'di ba? Magsasalita siya sa lata. Pag nasalita siya sa lata, 'di ba, magta-transmit yung kaya narinig ko kabila, nagta-transmit through doon sa nylon, 'di ba? Mag-encode siya, magsisend siya ng channel, and then pag na-decode niya na, maririnig nung kabilang receive, which is the receiver. Kung ano yung sinabi nung isa, yun yung maririnig din nung isa. 'Di ba? So meron tayo encoding. After ng pagka pinasa mo, mag-encode siya, and then ano ba yung ano yung medium of medium. Okay? Ano yung pag na meron ng medium, of course, i-decode na hanggang sa marinig po ng receiver. Okay. In order to better understand the communication process, we can break it down to a series of uh, 8 essential components. Okay? There are 8 parts represented that what is communication. So, ito yung nasa graphical natin. Okay. Number 1 is source. Of course, tayo yung sender, which is tayo rin naman ang sender. Tayo yung source. The source imagines, creates, or sends the message. Okay, in the public speaking, the source is the person who giving the speech. Okay? Lalo na kapag meron tayong ginawang, 'di ba? Lalo na pagka mag-speech or pinagre-report tayo, 'di ba, sa classroom. Of course, tayo yung the first person na nakasagap ng source. Of course, kumbaga tayo ay magsispread ng source. Yung source na ginawa mo, yun yung isi-send mo sa kanila para maintindihan nila ngayon yung nire-report mo o yung sinasabi mo. He or she conveys the message by sharing new information with the audience. The speaker also conveys a message through his or her tone of voice, body language, and choice of clothing. This process of turning thoughts into communication is called encoding. Kumbaga, sabi dito, magiging encoding siya once yung source mo turning thoughts into communication, maitatransmit sa ibang tao. So based dito sa source, syempre it's based on your research, it's based on your nasagap mo na ginawa mo, 'di ba? Na maraming information, and then you're able to speak it to the people. At the same time, dahil ikaw nagsisend ng message, syempre includes yung tono ng pananalita mo, includes your body language, 'di ba? How you able to represent yourself, okay? But of course, and when you are sending messages, yun nga, sabi ko kanina, is based on your research. Kasi 'di ba pagka nagsalita ka, kasi ang salita pag nabanggit mo na yan, hindi mo na yan mababawi. Okay. Let's go to the message. Siyempre, meron ka ng source, 'di ba? Of course, yung message na ibibigay mo, 'di ba? Kasi bago ka gumawa ng isang speech, 'di ba, na i-share mo sa ibang tao, you source ka. Kailangan credible 'yan, lalo na sa panahon natin ngayon. Hindi ka pwedeng magbanggit ng kahit anong fake news dahil sa katutak na bashing, okay? Of course, message. It's the stimulus or meaning produced by the source for the receiver or audience, okay? When you plan to give a speech or write a report, your message seems to be only the words you choose that will convey your meaning. But that just the beginning. Yung sinasabi ko, 'di ba, na dahil meron ka ng source, you will create your own spiel of speech, which is isusulat mo yan, pag-iisipan mo na maigi yan, ano ba yung pwede mong sabihin sa mga tao. Ganon din naman sa reporting, 'di ba, sa classroom. Iisipin mo kung ano yung dapat mo lang i-explain, ano lang dapat na i-discuss, 'di ba, para hindi ka malayo doon sa sinasabi mo, or kung may particular na motif na topic, so syempre you are focusing on the topic. Ganun lang naman din sa essay. Okay? Kung pababasa sa yung essay mo, definitely kung ano sinulat mo, yun ang isasabihin mo. Precise and concise. Okay? The words are brought together with grammar and organization. Of course, sinunulat mo muna yan eh. Kumbaga, kailangan proper lahat yan sasabihin mo isusulat mo muna yan pag tama yung grammar. Siyempre, mababash ka po kapag mali-mali ang grammar mo, 'di ba? Hindi ugma, or kahit nga minsan nga spelling nga lang or pagbigkas, dapat na ipa-practice 'yon para syempre hindi tayo mapapahiya din dahil you are giving your own spiel or message saan man tayong platform na, 'di ba, na binabanggit to, especially sa reporting. And kailangan may confidence ka, 'di ba? Lahat naman may confidence. This message also consists the way you say it in a speech, with your tone of voice, body language, yung sabi ko, appearance, in the report, your writing style, punctuation, headings, formatting you choose, no? Usually verbal and non-verbal, sabi ko nga, kung presentation, reporting, of course dapat maganda ang PowerPoint presentation mo, hindi yan kalat-kalat, kasi the PowerPoint also conveys message to the viewers or to the audiences, bukod doon sa syempre sa tayo mismo na physical appearance, kasi na magsasalita tayo, magpe-present tayo, kasi tayo ang channel of representing the non-verbal words sa mga tao sa reporting, gano'n, sa mga presentation. Pero syempre pagka speech ka, syempre babasahin mo lang yung paper, of course ang titingin sa iyo mga tao. So yun yung mga factors when you conveying a message. Let's go to the channel. Channel is the way which a message or messages travel between source of receiver. Kumbaga, ano ba yung medium? Saan mo pwede i-deliver yung message mo? I-deliver yung speech mo, yung presentation mo, yung gawa mo. Okay. There are multiple communication channel available to us today. It includes face-to-face conversations, letter, phone calls, text messages, and the internet, blogs, tweets, and TV Marami. Kung sa media tayo, tulad ng television at radyo, of course, kung radyo ang marinig lang yung boses mo. So, what you say is what you get, okay? Sa TV naman, what you see is what you get, 'di ba? Kung ano yung nakita mo, ano yung sinabi nila, definitely yun yung mag-i-install sa mindset mo as a receiver. Okay, sa social media. And ngayon, sa social media, very, alam mo, very little. Pero, yun yung, kung ano lang yung nakita, yun lang yung pag-uusapan. For example, papatayin ko yan, mga yan. So, definitely, mga tao, 'di ba, sa social media, pag yun lang ibinasa, they will justify what it says, 'di ba? Pero as tayo, the responsible netizen, we have also to read or view the video kung ano ba yung totoong kwento nun behind those yung yung na subjective na mga quotations or yung mga saying ng mga tao. So, maraming napapag-usapan. So, ito yung channel kung saan this is the medium how you can tell your story, how you can tell your presentation or your speech. Okay? Let's go to the receiver. Receiver receives the message from the source. Diba? From the source, conveys the message, nagkaroon ng medium, and then napunta na sa message. Analyzing, interpreting the message by both intended and unintended by the source. In order to receive the message, he or she listens, sees, touches, smells using the 5 senses to receive the message. Of course, nasa receiver. Ikong receiver, paano mo paano mo i-analyze yung sinabi ng tao? Siyempre, based on emotions, based on senses. The process of turning communication into thoughts is called decoding kasi the receiver decodes the message. You understand very well kung ano yung sinabi ng tao. Di ba? As a responsible person, kailangan malawak ang pag-iisip mo. Hindi ka nakabase lang dun sa kung ano yung ano. Of course, kailangan mong i-analyze na maigi. Okay? Next, feedback. Okay, after those you receive, of course, definitely you have your feedback. When the receiver responds to the source, intentionally or unintentional, she is giving feedback. Of course, para makapag-send ka, yung feedback mo, you're able to send message to that person. It sends back. So, ganun na naman din proseso nun. Sender, encoding, channel, then receiver. So, feedback, ganun din. Babalik din yung message. Okay? Feedback is composed of message the receiver sends back to the source. Kumbaga, for example, nag-usap kami ni Carlo. So, dahil nag-usap kami, meron siyang response. So, babalik din ulit ng message. So, ganun lang din. All these feedback signals allow the source to see how well, how accurate, how poor and accurately message was received. Siyempre, kapag ka face-to-face tayo, harapan tayo nag-uusap, mas malinaw. Pagka nasa social media tayo, usually PM, pero pagka kanyari nagkausap na sa using internet, minsan naglalag. Okay? So may mga certain technical difficulties na hindi talaga maintindihan. So ang gagawin, uulitin. So parang pabalik-balik lang yung communication natin. Feedback is an opportunity for the receiver or audience to ask for clarification, to agree or disagree, to indicate the source could make the message more interesting. Usually sa social media, mabilis ang feedback ng tao. Once mag-post ka lang 1 minute, definitely may comment agad. 'Di ba? Meron sa OB, meron magagawa na ng video for that. Ikaw, nagpe-present ka, 'di ba? Nagpe-present ka sa class. Usually after no, may feedback ang teacher mo. Paano ka magsalita, paano yung presentation mo, yung lahat. And then sa pagka-share mo ng mga facts. Okay, yung mga klase mo magtatanong yan for clarification or violent reaction or anything. Okay? So that's called feedback. Okay. So dahil feedback, they're going to the environment. Siyempre, environment is also an factor when it comes to communication. Ano ba yung napapaligiran mo? Maingay ba? Tahimik ba? Sabi dito, environment is the atmosphere, physical or psychological, where our individuals sense and receive messages. These include the table, chair, lighting, and sound equipment are in the room. For example, nasa classroom. Siyempre, ang environment mo, classroom, definitely, kapag ka nagpe-present ka, maayos dahil you are discussing the lecture that assigned by you by the teacher. pag example, nasa graduation ka, di ba? You are giving your speech. Definitely, you're giving your formal speech. Okay? Kapag ka nasa informal na, kunyari, ay nasa ano ka, nasa nangangampanya ka, di ba? For example, nasa informal set like definitely yung environment, 'di ba? Syempre lalakasan mo yung boses mo para marinig ng ibang tao. It depends on the environment na pupuntahan mo, on how you communicate with the people. So parang ano man kinakapa mo yung yung ugali ng mga tao, kinakapa mo yung galaw nila, lahat po, okay? Kasi environment. Okay, let's go to the context. Context of the communication. Interaction involves the setting, scene, and expectation of the individual involved. Kumbaga, ano ba yung ano mo, bukod doon sa topic mo kasi ano ba yung mga setting mo. A professional communication context will involve business suites or directly, indirectly influence expectation of language and behavior are more the participants. So, dahil nga environment, of course, the way, yung setting ng presentation mo, the setting ng the way you speak, of course, definitely yung sa damit mo rin, para it's more engaging to the people, na syempre, mas pakinggan ka, at mas unawain ka. Of course, you put everything into context. Okay. Noise or interference, syempre hindi ito mawawala. May mga pagkakataon kasi na magbablock tayo. Whether physical or psychological. Okay. Is anything that blocks or changes the source intended meaning for the message. For example, you are drive a car to work or at school, chances you are surrounded by noise. For example, nasa online class ka, syempre nasa bahay. Kapag nasa sala ka, definitely maingay, 'di ba? So medyo kunyari yung ikaw yung nagpe-present tapos nasa sala ka, definitely madidistract yung mga kaklase mo sa online, or yung mga kasama mo naman ang maingay, 'di ba? Definitely hindi mawawala ka ng focus when you speak. So lahat po kasi meron tayong yung kanina environment, syempre yun, pakikisalamuha, ito the way na nasa environment na tayo, may mga interference, 'di ba? Psychological noise, it happens when thoughts occupy your attention while you are hearing, reading. So may mga pagkakataon naman na may maraming distractions sa atin that hinder us to communicate with the people. So that's the noise, which is part yan ng medium natin, 'di ba? Na ano ba yung magiging natin interaction sa isa't isa dahil may noise. Okay. Let's go to the media and information influence to communication. Kasi talagang media promotes communication. Kasi yun naman talaga para makapag-interact with friends, family while living separately. Even other people na malayo tayo, 'di ba? Or ngayon sa panahon natin ngayon, lahat ng bagay nakikita na natin sa internet and pwede natin may access through internet at ganoon na lang kabilis. Hindi tulad dati na pahirapan, 'di ba? Lalo na kapag family, friends mo, mag-uusap kayo, definitely mag-yellow pad pa kayo, mag-stale mail pa kayo. It's been a long time para ma-receive mo at makapag-send ka ng feedback. But now, 'di ba, dahil itong online platform natin, mabilis. A split of seconds, nakikita natin mga pagmumukha natin, at the same time, mabilis tayong makaget ng feedback. Okay. Through the social media, you can make strong existing relationship and make new friends all over the world with different social networking websites. Totoo yun. Kasi 'di ba, we are lalo na sa mga gamers, they are because of gaming, marami silang nakakausap from other country, 'di ba, to collaborate with their game. Mga influencers natin, 'di ba, through their blogs and vlogs, they interact with the people with this video, and then later on, syempre after that, marami na, no, na mag-engage doon sa mga taong yon. Okay. Social media reduce the barriers of communication, make it easier for anyone to express thoughts of the world. Tama yon, 'di ba, na because of internet, 'di ba, kumbaga natanggal na yung barrier kung saan na maaari tayong makapag-usap anytime, anywhere. And at the same time, 'di ba, may mga taga-ibang bansa, 'di ba? Though may mga language barriers tayo, but with terms of communication, 'di ba, we can interact. As technology grows and expand the range of communication, media is becoming a vital tool for social interaction. So ngayon, dahil pandemic, mas na-embrace ng mga tao itong ganitong sistema na meron tayo. Pero meron naman to dati, pero mas na mas na-emphasize siya ngayon. Okay. While media can be good channel of communication and good source of information, they also pose some threats. Of course, may mga advantages at meron din naman tayong mga disadvantages. Okay, let's discuss those. Number one, media becomes source of misinformation and fake news. Kasi tayo, kung hindi tayo aware, hindi tayo malawak yung kaisipan natin, definitely, tayo ay mahahagilap ng fake news. Kumbaga, mabilis tayong maniwala, mabilis tayong, alam mo yun, na ito pala yung nangyayari, pero hindi pala yun ang totoo. Even pictures, even speeches, even lahat po. Kasi kailangan mabusisi tayo. They sometimes are utilized to such personal gain or agenda, no? Making the receiver of information deceived, confused, and misinformed. Kaya, bakit, alam mo yung madalas sa fake news? Number one kasi, emotion. So, tandaan ninyo, emotions can deceive everybody. No, kapag dinaan mo sa emosyon yan na nasasabi mo na pala hindi to totoo, definitely ang mga tao magpapanik yan or magre-react yan na mali naman pala information mo. So be careful lalo na sa social media. At lalo na kung ikaw ay sooner, 'di ba, nasa television ka, ikaw nagvo-vlog, 'di ba, ikaw ay nag-send ka na sa media platform, be careful kasi manood may hindi, it's pertaining your personality. It defines you. Siyempre, may balik diyan sa'yo. Kasi sabi ko nga kanina, kung ano yung sinabi mo, hindi mo na maibabalik yon. Okay? Kasi nasabi mo. Though media have improved way we communicate, it abused by many. Okay? Everybody publishes whatever they want and unmindful in consequences of their posts. Okay? Kasi tayo, di ba, yan, yung mga memes, number one. Karamihan sa mga Gen Z at millennial, nagpo-post ng hindi iniisip ng 10 beses. So, tandaan ninyo kung ano pinost nyo, lalo na kung marami kayong followers, siyempre may kaibigan kayo, isipin nyo muna, ano ba magiging kahihinatnan ng gagawin mo. Kasi kapag hindi mo inisip yon, there's a consequence that will be ma-return sa'yo, no? Kasi kahit anong mali mo, for example, ito, di ba yung teacher na nag-TikTok na sinasabi daw their particular sexual psychological abuse. So, definitely sira ang karir ng teacher na 'yon, 'di ba? Sira ang reputasyon niya, pangalan niya. So, tayo na darating sa punto na siyempre magkakatrabaho and pangalan nyo ang dala nyo. So, wag dating hintayin ng reputasyon nyo ay masira ng dahil lang sa isang viral post or isang post na nakasira ng karamihan. Okay, so we should be careful with that. Okay. At syempre, bullying din, no? Yung mga flame wars natin, yung communication, kasi kahit sino dyan pwede mag-screenshot as a evidence. Okay? Alam nyo, kung gaano ang technology ngayon, ganun din po ang mga tricks with regards to the media. Okay. While media can be good channel for communication and a good source of information, media can pose medical, social, and psychological issues. What is poses of media may cause dissatisfaction of body image, creates addiction, promotes identity stealing, and can destroy interpersonal relationship. Number one, ito, yung mga nagpo-post ng mga report card, no? Alam nyo, hindi po dapat pinopost ang report card sa social media. Bakit? Kasi may, it includes your personal information, yung ID number, yung LRN number, dahil pwede pong kunin ng kahit sino yan. Kasi meron po tayong data privacy act. At saka yung mga ID, importanteng ID, nagpo-post tayo ng kung ano, may content pa natin. Alam nyo, pwede po gamitin yan. Kahit friends nyo lang yan, pero may mga balahura na pwedeng kunin yan kahit sino at gamitin po yan sa crime. Diba? Hindi na nagka-problema ka pa. Diba? Of course, yung mga mga hate messages, hate posts, hate memes, 'di ba? Na ito yung mga body shaming, 'di ba? Yung batawag dito, mga bullying, yan, memes po 'yan. O nagpo-post kayo ng mga sensual na hindi dapat nagpo-post sa social media. Okay? Yung tipong mga greens, 'di ba? Mga green jokes, 'di ba? Ginagawang pang meme, 'di ba? At the same time yung mga kalokohan at isa pa yung mga isyong pang mental, no? Hindi po tayo dapat nagbibiro ng ganun sa social media. So lahat ng mga bagay, no, pati medical, 'di ba? Yung tipong syempre hindi ba nandidiri sa mga may dugo, 'di ba? Or sa mga nakita niyo aksidente, be sensitive sa mga pinopost po natin. Okay? Kasi 'di ba, sabi ko nga may consequences 'yon. At the same time, hindi niyo na kahit i-delete niyo na 'yan, no, may makukuha pa silang source, no. No, for example, na viral ka sa TV, kahit i-delete mo pa yan sa mismong main account mo, yung mga tao isi-screenshot na yan, isi-save yung video, isi-screen share na nila yan, na it lasts forever, no, dahil nakataya yung pangalan mo. So yun yung sinasabi ko dito na uh, whether social media or in the anumang platform na meron tayo, be careful, 'di ba? Kasi communication, media is promotes communication. Nasa banggit nga natin yung process of communication. Definitely maging responsible tayo, at the same time how we can able to communicate with the people properly. Key. Kasi kahit hindi man tayo sikat man tayo hindi, it nagre-reflect po yan sa atin, sa lahat po ng ginagawa natin. Okay? And that's our topic for today.